This is a human birthright. It's innate. It's divine communication. Multi-dimensional communication.
Could the word creation be used there? Used as to describe it? Synchronicities? As I think of synchronicity, that means I'm aware, I see them, I connect them.
Yeah, it's interaction.
Afternoon, Ian.
Hi.
Exploring synchronicity this morning. Sindrell, hello.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, we got
morning.
you. Thanks, Cinderella.
Thank you, Craig, for sending the link. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
So good to hear your voice.
So good to be heard. Oh. Is,
Hello, Pascal.
is that a full
Hey,
moon
guys.
behind you?
How we doing?
It is. Well, I don't think it's not quite full, but that is the moon behind me. Yes.
Yeah, it was full a couple days ago. And a lunar eclipse, actually.
Ooh. A lot of nice energies to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is getting aligned.
Yeah, the moon shines its maximum light when it's full. And then the light dims off and it's a signal to let go. It shines light on everything and it exposes what's time to go. So you got 2 weeks to let go. Make room.
That's great. I had like a half a closet of items that didn't belong to me. And yesterday I put them in my car and called the person that they belonged to and said, I'm coming by, open the door.
Mhm.
So you did a quick drive-by.
Yeah. Like, wow, that's done.
That's priceless. That's synchronicity. That's what we're talking about, actually. It's about getting the hints. The hints that aren't so subtle anymore. Really good example, Syndrome.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm good.
That's
This is
funny.
yours.
Clean out. 2 weeks to clean out. Synchronicities. Hi, Allie. Good afternoon. Good evening for you.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Ali.
Hi, Allie. The emphasis
so good
was
to be
on
here.
hi. Hi, energy.
I thought you were going to make a song out of it.
I could, but it's,
You just
it's
did.
still early for me.
Mm. It's never too early to hear your singing song, singing voice.
Yeah, I know you guys are under the influence.
But no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. But it's nice to have the spirit and the joy of singing in my heart.
Mhm.
I love that. And singing really does raise your vibration. Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I
And then-
personally like dancing. I like shaking my little ass.
See? Yeah. That's it. You get that music going, then when your feet start moving too, oh, shucks. Then your little ass be like, what is going on? Let me get in with this groove. You got your feet moving, your hips moving. Don't throw your arms up in the air. Hey, ho.
So good to gather in your laughter.
Mm.
Laughter is like the songs in your heart.
That's their way of releasing emotion.
And sharing it.
Mhm.
Laughter is a synchronicity.
About 40 years ago, I met a woman. She was my first husband's mother. She was from Haiti. And I could see her right now sitting off the little room from the kitchen. And some calamity of news would come to her. And she would just throw her head back and laugh. She just didn't let anything bother her. And she gave me a little pen. I still have it. It says, let go and let God. It is but a small thing. Let go and let God.
It's part of synchronicity too. Just for me anyway.
Mm-hmm. But you can always choose how you sync up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of it. I think that was her way of aligning to laugh. She would just align with everything is all right.
Synchrony is a really fruitful form of feedback. Powerful.
Laughter recalibrate your body. I'm curious, have you guys shared the word of the day, or anybody started?
Oh, we just started on synchronicity.
Mm. Nice. Well, I'll start. It's not a word, but it's kind of a small phrase. And it goes like this. Be how you want to feel. Feel how you want to be. It's a little bit of a mind binder. But when you get your mind out of the way, it's a lot easier to understand.
When you get your mind out of the way, it's a lot easier to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, that means you don't just understand with your mind.
Your mind can't understand. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing there. It's just a story in the mind.
Wow.
Mind can't operate outside of 4 dimensions. Doesn't even have access to the 5th. That's why lately I've been promoting mindlessness. Intuition works a lot better. At least for where I want to go.
So I was quiet because I was looking for something that I wrote in must have been my early 70s, probably like 73. And I wrote it on an awkward piece of Polaroid picture backing. And my mom kept it. And we started out with, this is the time of letting things go. And I wrote this. So it's a little poem. It's called To or Not To. To love or not to love. To have or not to have. To need or not to need. To want or not to want. To feel or not to feel. To give or not to give. Like I said, to love or not to love. That is the question. Your share, Pascal, reminded me that I just found this yesterday.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's amazing that you wrote that like over 30 years ago.
Yep.
I think you knew something back then.
Yeah, I think I knew something more back then and forgot it.
Very interesting observation.
Maybe less program?
Totally unprogrammed.
Right.
But I was still in a structure, but I wasn't programmed in that structure. My structure took place in 1977 when I found out what it was to be when I experienced racism.
Oh, wow. A life-altering event.
Yeah. And it was on an institutional level. It wasn't on a personal, like person to person level. It was from on an institutional level.
Wow.
To love or not to love?
Oh, Cinderell, thank you for sharing that because you just gave me a huge insight.
Thank you all for being on this call because I just got a huge insight.
Wow. Yeah. On an institutional level. So the lead by the system. Oppressed personally by the system. Wow. That's really speaking to me right now.
Prior
And
to
I'm going to add institutions are gatherings of people.
well, but all the people that I saw, they were complying
Mhm,
to the institution.
mhm.
Like worship the institution.
Similarly, so I'll lay it out for you. Prior to that, I was in a high school, a creative arts high school. And I also had the pleasure of mixing things up and socializing and creating with people from all over the world. Attending national conferences, planning national conferences, speaking and engaging with people from international realms. And it was always all good, always growing and expanding and just getting to know people from different walks of life. So when I and I was a scholar, honor student, all of that, kept all my grades up and did all of these, had all these wonderful experiences. But when I went to college, I struggled to get an A. I lost weight considerably. I wasn't measuring up. I found out what it was to be measured, the difference between the teacher using a bell curve or not. And when I saw it being applied or not applied based on the type of participants were in the class,
Mm.
when the study groups were ostracizing, who got the test before the test was ostracizing. The ethics of how information was disseminated was ostracizing. And I was around a huge population of people, and I was alone. That's the first time I felt alone. So I felt alone. I felt like I couldn't. I knew I just know I'm smart. I know I'm smart, but I was not making the grades. I knew I was disciplined to study. I'd study like for days and days on one thing and working it out. Because I used to work with teachers so that teachers could teach the new curriculum. I knew I could do this stuff,
You too.
but it wasn't happening for me. I struggled because I didn't understand, and I wasn't designed within a confining institution that I now was going to college in.
Mm.
Interesting you use the word confining, because that's how I found university as well. It's like all of a sudden, it's like any of my own ideas of exploration or anything like that were totally thrown out the window. Because you enter university, you do it this way, and if you can't fit into that way, yeah. In fact, I got kicked out. My first year at university, I actually got kicked out. I got this letter that said, you're forced to withdraw. You can't come back next year. If you do decide you want to come back, you've got to go through all kinds of psychological testing and all kinds of other BS in order to do it. So yeah, very interesting. Similar experience, Cinderella.
It is. It's telling you that you're broken.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's the first time I remember my genius being directly challenged.
And all that was a lie.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, schooling is contracting.
Oh, hugely.
And we want to expand, don't we?
Well, naturally. That's a true nature of a human being, to grow and expand and learn. That's why so few of us can find our true nature. We've been taught to contract like that. environment is a contraction. You can't do that. You're not allowed. There's a time for this and there's a time for that, and somebody else needs to tell you what those are. More and more work, less and less play.
Less being and more doing
Yeah.
what you're told to do.
There we go.
I really needed this morning. You know, when you're making a recipe of something, it just needs a little touch of something. I really needed this today.
We're good, aren't we, Cinderella?
Yeah.
Little salt and
Awesome.
pepper.
Yes. Sweet smoked pepper.
Mm.
Ooh, sweet smoked paprika.
Oh yeah, right up my alley.
Yeah. Restoring inner authority. It's been a huge theme for me the past few months. The truth that nobody else could even know better.
The sparks that have been blowing out. To
Yeah,
love
and
not to
synchronicity
love.
is the proof. It's a very personal kind of proof.
Choose to be love and choose to feel love.
Choose to follow your own heart,
Mhm.
whatever's in it, whatever's there.
And everyone else's. Yeah.
So I'm experiencing a physical response to this conversation, and it's normally not considered a positive response because my chest is weighted. But I know what's happening because this is opening a dungeon door that hasn't even been looked at in probably ever. To realize when the confinement got a hold to my geniusness. And this is very significant to open that door. And usually something like this might take a courage to open, but I'm opening it with strength. And I'm having to use some muscle that I haven't even used.
You know, I heard you say, Cinderella, that an institution violated you.
the Holocaust is coming to me. Like, everybody get on this train and go this way. I went the way I thought I was supposed to go without even, because it looked like the best option for me. And the best option for me was not life, it was death.
Okay.
But I didn't know better.
Mm.
I'm trusting something outside of me to tell me what's best for me. But I was like 18 years old. What did I know?
A
And I was,
lot.
yeah, but I didn't know that I
That's the
knew.
assumption. Yeah, because that's what I heard from what you said too. Is that you had an innate wisdom back then in your teens that's only being reawoken now.
But it was painted like it was like the best choice. I was the first one that was of my family that was going to go to college. I was the last one of my family born, but the first one to go to college on a full scholarship. The institution can be so enticing.
Mm.
And I also let, because the scholarship was in business education and not in, I wanted to take up psychology, but the scholarship was for business. So
Even that took authority over you, right?
say that again.
Even that took authority over you. Like your
Mhm.
scholarship dictated to you what you were going to study.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So there's another constriction right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Here, Sindrell, we created this nice little box for you. But it's a scholarship. So how can you say no?
Right?
But it's a box. Just the same. Problem is it's a box full of broken glass.
But I bought it. I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, hey. Don't we all?
And I exercised buying a various institutional thoughts and concepts from then on. And it just didn't get any better.
Wow. Isn't that an insight looking back? Kept following a pattern. Wow.
Wow.
So it's not even a box. It's just here, Sindrell. This is your pattern. Follow.
Here's Sindrell. Here's the matrix.
Yeah. Here's the blue pill. There's no other option.
Here's how it works. You can't think outside the box.
Well,
You're
yeah.
gonna remove your scholarship.
Had a life pattern that was dictated to you. conditional.
You know, I guess that's why I am so profoundly in glee over both of my girls. They were very determined in their knowingness to choose what they wanted to choose, not what someone else wanted them to choose. And I know in raising them, I would always ask them, what do you want as far as choice? And even when we were inside of institutions, it's like saying things to them in conversation or in statements, like, look at it for yourself. What does it mean to you? How do you see it? And now both of them went to institutions, but totally of their choice. Had options to go other places, had options not to go. I took all of that expectation off of them, as at least expressing it. And now both of them, one is going on 25, the other one is 35, and they're both finishing up with their masters this month, graduating. But that is one thing, but it is the opportunities that are so fulfilling for each of them that they are arriving into. My oldest daughter has 2 consultative jobs, both of them paying her full time. She can handle both of them, and both of them have given her full carte blanche as how she creates what she's bringing to the table. Amazing.
Wow.
And I could,
Those kind of opportunities didn't exist when you and I were teenagers, Cinderella.
we were to create them, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I did. I went the entrepreneur route.
Mhm. And
Yeah,
my
I
other,
ended up contract consulting my whole life.
yeah, see, that's, you did it.
Yeah, I know I was one of the first ones too.
I was conforming. And by the time I broke out of my second marriage, I got a t-shirt. I didn't know what it really meant. It's called Compliant No More.
Wow.
And my sister was making t-shirts. I said, right, make this t-shirt for me.
Yeah, I didn't like boundaries too much. I didn't like being constricted. Which is, I guess, one of the reasons why they call that freelance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a good firefighter.
Well, I would, but I wouldn't want to do that.
No, I'm just kidding. Like, it
No,
was
but
one
true,
thing, like
true.
when I went to firefighter school, freelancer, right? Doing your own thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can do that for a time. But if the time gets to be an extended period, I go totally ape. Just gave me another insight.
We will create chaos in boundaries. And people do different things. People do different things.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Because my core woundings were around being constricted, being frozen, and not being able to move, like actually being tied up physically. Why I don't like boundaries at all. I don't like being pigeonholed. I don't like constriction.
Yeah, that's why I practice reading. I was exploring yesterday breath and money. And I was looking at it and then like, so if I take money as energy, it cannot be created or destroyed. So breath is the same. And then I was looking at like my pattern with money, like try to save money. And I was like, I don't do that with my breath. I don't try to save it.
Yeah.
I let it free flow. And I was looking also at the inhale. So expanding, contracting, and they're both important. And so I was like, I'm gathering money, but I'm not releasing money. I do, but not in the same way. So I'm like, there's an imbalance here. So I was looking at all these aspects with breath, and then like as you guys were talking, like expanding, contracting, box. It's funny that it's one of the things that's called box breathing. So everything was kind of related to my breath, and I was just like, wow, like this is interesting. And I was like, to free myself, it's to free my breath. And really, I don't have to free my breath because it's naturally occurring. So why I have all these blockage with money, if money is energy, just like breath, just like everything.
Is it blockage, or are you choosing to hold
Yeah,
on?
blockage in sense like limitation, more limitation. Because I have no limitation with my breath, but with money I do, you know? So I was exploring all these concepts and I was just like, oh, this is mind blowing.
Synchronicities, huh?
Yeah.
Connections. Curiosity, openness, looking at them, comparing them, finding similarities.
Yeah. Do you know how I died when I was a kid? When I was tied up like that.
No,
Just sense into that. Okay, I was tied up. Unable to move physically. How do you die when you're like that?
You suffocated, didn't you?
Exactly. It's like being in the grip of a boa constrictor.
Suffocating yourself unconsciously.
Suffocating is about breath.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do it conscious. Well, no, I didn't do it consciously. It was just like I couldn't get air in my lungs. I was so constricted I couldn't breathe. Now here's an interesting twist looking back on that. That whole experience made me very sensitive to any kind of constriction, to any kind of limit, to any kind of artificial boundary or anything like that. It's like I have a super sense around being contained. Whenever I experience something that feels like that, I know it's not correct for me. And that until recently, that used to show up as a trigger response. Okay, but it's because of this work we're doing here, and because of pretty much everything that's happened to me in the last 6 to 9 months, they're not intense enough to trigger me, but I still sense that. I still sense those restrictions and that kind of stuff. Very, very, very accurate around those things. So when somebody says something to me, I can sense a limiting belief in it. For example. I sense
Nelly, do you?
limiting constriction. Right?
Yeah. Hmm.
That's a fine-tuned fifth dimension sensing. Is the other part of it. It's sensing the energy of it.
So thank you. The weight on my chest, it's not gone. It actually got a lot heavier. And it took me, thanks for bringing me back to breath work. A vision of a very, very thick steel cast door with vines and webs all over it has become a very still web door with flowers on it. And it's not done yet, but in the process of reaching to the handle and pulling it back, without stubborn ease. So that's where I am right now. Back to you.
Is there a message in that? Girl? Message for you?
Breathe through it and recognize, like, the things that I've been looking at. Like you said, you can tell when there's confinement around you, confining energies around you.
Yeah.
They are confining energies to you, but they are not confining. So you just don't choose them. The message from me, I just got to breathe through this right now.
Timing.
That's the message. Synchronicity.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I wrote that thing in the early 70s. That door's been shut a long, long time. I'm still me, but it's like having been on a long, long journey. Where hast thou forsaken self? Where hast thou been separated? When did choices become limitations to choose? The institutionals, they do rules. But you are not a matrix, a spirit, you'll always be. So live with your breathing. Your breath is free.
Free and abundant.
Your sound
Much as you
Yeah,
like.
Pascal? Couldn't
Hmm?
hear what you said. We couldn't hear what you
free,
said.
free and abundant.
Yeah.
As much as you like.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, wow. Oh, man.
Energies are free. It's just we've from our past or experiences have closed them, put boundaries, constrained them. Thank you for that. Energies are free.
Energy cannot be created. Just like money. You don't
Right.
make money.
But
You
they
don't
have a
make
different,
energy.
the energies have a different quality. They have a different frequency, a different quality.
Allie or Ian, any wisdom to share this morning with us? Words you'd love to bring in?
No, not today. I'm just cooking, so I'm listening and cooking at the same time.
What you're cooking?
Pardon?
What you're cooking?
Making a Sunday dinner.
Nice. Are you all inviting us?
Synchronicities.
So do you wait to exercise the energy until conditions are removed, or?
Can you ask that again, please?
Yeah. Do you wait to exercise the energy until conditions are removed?
When the student is ready, the teacher shows up. The universe is the teacher.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah.
So I'm still sitting with the weight is lightened. So now I got to get outside. And breathe.
Yeah. Timing.
Yeah, and the synchronicity is the feedback.
You know, it's something that my mother kept this piece of paper and it has always found me.
Yeah, isn't that, well, it has its own energy. You know, it just came to me now. This is funny. About 4 years ago, somebody stole one of my phones. And what just came to me just now is that that phone's coming back to me. Oh, that's amazing. You know, in the same way that that picture keeps finding you, Cinderella. See, that's a synchronicity right there. It's like, okay, that's how it works. Oh man. You know, 7 months ago, the justice system, oh man. Yeah, we were talking about institutions violating you. Yeah. 7 months ago, the justice system effectively confiscated everything I owned. Like I basically walked away with just the shirt on my back. And that was it. And what I'm getting right now, like there was things like all my childhood journals and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what happened to them. I walked away from them. And I just got that all that stuff that's really important to me is coming back because it's my energy and it's my stuff. It's my importance. It's my life. It's my truth. And I have no idea how that's going to come to pass, but I just got that that's true for me. Oh man. But only the parts that are important or significant, because nothing else matters.
I was getting that the essence of what you lost is never lost from you because it's you.
Oh, that's true too. Because it isn't about the possessions. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not about the possessions. It's about the energy in them. So they may not be restored physically, but be restored energetically. Wow.
On Thursday, my youngest daughter, she called me and she said, "Tell me stories about grandma." She says, "I'm just so much is happening right now, and I'm embarking on the next as I finish up my prepared to graduate. Tell me stories about grandma." So I did. And we spent like about an hour and a half or so on the phone. And then this paper comes out. And I'm just thinking that, or feeling that this paper was saved so I would know where to find this door. And the weight is going off my chest now too. And so the story of the prodigal son comes to me is that we all have a mark to come to ourselves, he said. And when I came to myself, because he was out eating, the swine was eating better than him. And he realized who he was, and he went back home. So that door that cast over me earlier this morning is that door. And it's the prodigal son just had to come to himself and realize who he was. That's me standing at that door. For him, it was an awareness and a decision. And so it's a decision to open that door and walk in that energy of who we are. And Craig, I think everything that was taken away, you got it back today.
Yeah, or definitely an assurance of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Feel like I've just had a graduation.
Jesse, it looks like you're having a good time over there, riding high on energy. Like, all cylinders are just like rolling, like, yes. I can't hear you.
I don't have to do it alone. So yeah,
I'm just
I am.
overjoyed. I got people to share this experience with, because it's. Oh,
Yeah, my word was creation. It was like that's what's been in my mind this morning. It's synchronicities, aware of them. And what I was just thinking is so often the information is there, or the trigger, the awareness, and the tendency is to avoid it, like that feeling, that weight, is to try and get away from it, numb it, avoid it, rather than just exploring it,
yeah.
allowing it. And then it's like that's progress, because it breaks through, it peels off, and then something new, a new synchronicity can show up. But if we keep avoiding it, then it's just the same thing. Don't ever move to the next one. And man, it's
Here's another thing too.
Life of knots that we've kept our energy tied up in, these knots that we're learning to release.
Tied up in knots and can'ts. All of us sharing this experience today have made a major step into the fifth dimension. This is a shared experience into multi-dimensional, into our multi-dimensional truth as human beings.
Have you given it a name yet, Craig?
No, not yet. But it's a transition. It's transitioning.
Yeah.
It's like recalibrating and transitioning.
Yeah.
It's a frequency raise as well.
I asked Allison, we were working through it, and asked, that the fifth dimension, without a doubt, she was like, it's the field.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. It's
Just
the
to give it
first
just to give it a
accessible
name.
dimension of the field by a human being. The fifth dimension.
There we go.
And there's a tipping point. There's a tipping point when the fifth dimension gets to be more real to you than the first four. And I'm starting to sense that. And that's why the synchronicity, and that's why they're showing up more frequently. There's more feedback to let us know that we're moving that direction. Our consciousness is rising. Oh, here's what's coming to me too.
Awareness is expanding.
Yeah, we have big C consciousness when we're born, but we kind of lose track of it. It kind of gets put on the back burner. And that's a pretty standard, life pattern.
Yeah. The institutions.
Yep.
Take it away from us. And I mean, family institutions, parents, other people. I mean,
Well,
it happens
they're
everywhere.
actually counterfeit consciousness. They displace consciousness, true consciousness that exists already.
And all in their cycle, all in their progress, all where they're at, and it's generational progress.
Yeah. Well, and even the understanding that all is energy, that everything is energy. All that we see, all that we don't see, everything's energy.
But I remember in high school learning about that, but I didn't learn in high school how to explore the magic, the wonderment of my energy.
Oh. You know what's interesting is the kind of father of today's educational system was actually Henry Ford. And Henry Ford was in the original mastermind that Napoleon Hill set up. And they were talking about exactly the same things we're talking about today in that mastermind way back then. And there were certain things that Napoleon Hill had discovered that he wanted to put in the book, but Henry Ford kiboshed it because it would have ruined his education system that was basically set up to create people that could work on an assembly line. And it's kind of interesting that here we are 100 years later, we're kind of coming full circle and bringing things back to life.
Are there writings of those parts that were eliminated?
Yeah, I don't know who. I think it was Joe that pointed this out to me. But yeah. There's. I don't know if they've been republished or what the deal is, but. But it's just and not to fault Henry Ford, because the thing is, the stuff Napoleon Hill brought out were extremely expansive concepts. They're very, as I like to say, conceptual, abstract, conceptual stuff, and so. The world wasn't ready for that.
Who's to say that the world wasn't ready for that?
Well,
Those who say the world is not ready for that are not ready for the world.
Well, yeah.
I have actually sat in some church sermons and saying, I won't, oh, y'all not ready for that. But you're around like thousands of people. You're just not ready to say it. But I'm sitting there like, give it to me. Maybe the person next to me is not ready for it. Maybe it might pass somebody else. And maybe I might not get the whole concept, but I want it. Thirsty.
Yeah. What I was saying was that Henry Ford wasn't ready for it.
Right, because he wanted to what? Control.
Well, he wanted to control. He wanted to control everything, right? And the thing is, in this work we're doing, there's no control in it. Once you control it, it's over. That simple.
Fascinating how it takes 3 generations.
Yeah. Here's an
It
interesting thing.
works really well for the first one, not so well for the second one, and doesn't at all for the third.
Here's an interesting story that's kind of connected to this. In the book of Acts, there's a story of and I forget who it was. I forget which one of the disciples it was. It might have been Paul. It might have been somebody else. But anyway, the book of Acts, and anyways, they're out performing miracles, like they're healing people and doing stuff like that. And the wealthy guy in the town comes to them and with a whole lot of money and wants to buy their power. And it's like, you can't access it this way, right? You can't, like, because it can't be bought. It can't be bottled. It can't be, you know what I mean? So you can't, once you put constrictions on it, or once you try to control it, it won't work. I mean, that's why they used to burn witches and wizards.
Because it couldn't be controlled.
Yeah, because they couldn't be controlled, and deep down, everybody would have known, you know, unconsciously would have known that being able to operate in those dimensions is a human birthright. But people found it threatening, even though they wanted to be able to practice that kind of stuff themselves. Human beings are designed to operate from higher frequency and higher dimensions.
I think that's your birthright, right? That's what you say, your birthright, which is where we start with it. Start with our genius, our gifts, and that's what it's like. We're yearning to come home to that, to come back to that.
Yes.
Meaning that's why there's such a frustration and stress and anxiety and depression, because we know what we want. We've had it. We've just, the barriers, the things around us telling us that we can't.
Yeah.
And then
everything around
like
you says no.
Sandrell, that's right. It says no. And it's like, we believe that, we fall into it. Great example of that today. It's like things start to validate, oh, I'm not good enough was my big pattern.
Yeah.
And it's not true, yet we begin to take it on as true. And of course, like other people, will continue to take away opportunities, and it's like their choice in what they do. So not to diminish, take away from that story at all, because it's like people inside those institutions are reinforcing it.
Yeah. And even people that are enlightened somewhat still continue to manipulate the 3D.
Hmm.
You know, it's like refusal to step into the truth, you know.
And those with money will be the last to fall.
That's
Oh, yeah.
because you control the truth.
Yeah.
There's no controlling the truth.
No.
No, man, you suppress it. You can only for so long, and then it's going to come out. And that's, I think, what we're experiencing. It's going to come out of being all pent up, right? For those 100 years. Where Henry Ford also said, I don't know why I have to deal with the whole human when all I want is a good pair of hands.
Yeah.
And we're seeing today how that education system is turning out our young. I would say I was probably my age group, my generation was the last one. Like, we're at the point going like, oh, it's not working.
Yeah.
We just don't have the balls to change it yet. Or, well, I think we're right in the middle. We don't have enough of the control of it yet.
But even when you start making changes to it, society takes control over it and turns it into a $500 billion industry.
Yeah. Those that are already at the top that don't want to lose it.
Right, exactly. And there's mass buy-in to that.
Yeah. So my nephew was here last night and he's about to go off to college. He's done 2 years in community. He's looking to find out what his strengths are. So he's exploring. And I was just emphasizing to him, you know, go and be aware of what you're doing, but don't become what you're doing.
Yes.
It's a tool. Use it as a tool. You be curious about it, but don't let it define you. It's a tool for you to create your own
Yes.
external expressions. Don't be confined to how it communicates to you. It's a tool to becoming. Don't become it. It's a tool to becoming who you desire and choose to be, and become aware of how the information and the classes challenge your thinking. Don't conform. You don't have to conform to anything.
So powerful.
Use it.
It's just such good information, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it to know that where am I doing that, because it's such a, you know, it's my pattern, right? It's what I was taught was right. And Fritz, you know, Robert Fritz even says, you know, the creator is not the creation.
Yeah.
Separate those, you know, it's like the artist is not the painting, is not the art. Use it as information, as guidance, like, oh, like becoming it. Yeah. And like not becoming it that way, but like as becoming what is next. Use it as information. Don't attach to it.
Does that mean we can quit buying someone else's pattern or someone else's system?
You can buy it, just don't buy into it.
Yeah.
Or
like try it
I mean,
on.
that's
Try
you
it on.
You look at the commerce that's
Make
going
it
on.
yours.
Yeah, you look at the commerce that's going on in the internet. That's all about that. It's about I got this system, I got this pattern. Here, give me money. You know what I mean? Because it solves this or it solves that or it's, you know.
Yeah, use it.
Maybe it did for you.
Yeah, use it to discover who you truly are.
Yes.
Sometimes that can happen.
Yeah, I love your share, Sindro. It's very
Ah.
profound.
Yeah.
Very, very profound. Because we get trapped in like, I am a doctor. I am Pascal. I am this. No, I'm not.
It's what
I'm using
capacity.
right now. It's just my suit. You know?
Yes.
It's also a limiting belief.
Yeah, everything that you put after I am, it's limiting you.
Collapses you. Yep.
Anything. Doesn't matter what it is, even just your name. Because if you think about reincarnation, oh, I am Pascal. Well, do you think I was Pascal in a previous life? No. So that's not true.
Well, that's interesting. I have been there, and I'm just travailing an awakening of something else in that dimension. So I'm planning an event, and again talking to my nephew, and I said, he said, so you're sponsoring this event? I said, yeah, I'm bringing it together. It's something that's been in my spirit for it to happen. And I said, I believe I will do it as Ahava, Mashiba Ahava. He said, what is that? I said, it's a name that was given to me. One of the names is Mashiba, which is mother of the tribe, given to me by an elder, again, like 30 years ago.
Wow.
And the other name, Ahava, mother of light, was given to me
Yes.
7 years ago.
Mm.
And so it just came to me last night as I was talking to him that, in business, I'm, Sindro Parish Parker, real estate investor. When I've been among some groups of friends this past couple of weeks, I introduced myself as Cindy. That's like my fun, innocent, unbridled, just existent me self. And, so when you say I am, it's like, you come up, you use, it's different disciplines and different books. So you have different definitions, but you can take one discipline and relate it to another, to another, to another, just like we went back to the book of Acts. So our I ams are multidimensional in and of themselves, and relations of who we are in so many aspects of what we're evolving. I feel I started telling people, like, trying to date now. So it's like, don't put expectations on me. I will be glad to disappoint you. I will not be confined. So I may show up as Cindy, I may show up as Ahava, I may show up as Mashiba, I may show up as names unnamed yet. But all of it is an expression of the creation that I've been made. And I love the exploration of me. I love it. It's so much more exciting than sitting in a corner being defined as a piece of bread with mold on it. No.
Or a rock.
A piece of bread with mold on it. Oh dear.
I mean, I would just like pray that like a kid would just throw me once in a while.
Mm.
I want
Well,
some attention as a rock.
Yeah, I would collect you. I have a collection of rocks, just random rocks.
Yeah,
But
bring
see,
me out once in a while.
yeah, they're symbolic too. And you know what, Pascal? I have my I ams on it.
Mm.
On one side, it says I am, and on the other side, it says peace. I am love. And it gives me that kinesthetic feeling of my I ams.
Yeah, identify yourself with one of those fifth dimension terms like trust or love or the ones that can't be defined, grace.
Gonna make me write a poem about you, Pascal.
Yep, here it comes. Let her rip, Cindy.
I saw you on the ground and I kicked you all around and saw a hue of sparkling brilliance that somehow sparked me to be astounded. I picked you up and felt your edges, some raw, some smooth, and wondered how far I could throw you in the air of eternal groove. But did I want to throw you or bring you closer, dear, to capture this moment when I just felt you near? But yet in freedom, do I have you more? So I go out to the cliff and stand above the shore and breathe a breath of breathing, of exhilaration and of being, and feel you in my right hand as my arm goes back without wheezing, and let you soar over the water and even more, and let the water carry you away to explore even more. Pascal, the Rock.
Hmm.
I muted you, Pascal, just to, well, you were giving that, Sindrell, thank you. Sometimes the truck gets a little noisy.
Oh yeah, no. No, thank you very much, Sandro. That touched my heart.
Wow.
Touched mine as well. Today was.
Me three.
Today was a great reminder of who we are, what we are, and where we're limiting. And reminded me of like my joy, my passion is to pull out the genius that's not only in myself, but in others. And it's easy to, I can find it easy to forget that. in a structure that doesn't support it yet. Any closing words? Thank you all for showing up, for being here, sharing your genius.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe when I heard like melanin people have 150 trillion cell and Caucasian has 50. I mean, I'm okay with 50. It's not being jealous because we're not to our full potential anyway. But when people are really exercising their full potential, yeah, that's where I see it in Black people. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. The insight that's coming out from you, Central, is like, yeah, I have no word for it. And just right on the fly that you came up with this, it's just, yeah. Very insightful.
My heart feels so much joy and exuberance and beingness and aliveness. And I'm just so grateful that there's a place that receives me, but really helping me to receive myself, which is the most important. The pain in my chest is gone. It's dissipated. The release of my creativeness is the antidote.
Yeah, I feel it releasing in mine too, so. Couple more thing. I think I was on mute and I was talking to myself for a bit. Talking about frequency and dimension, I feel that we're not moving in different dimension. We're moving in different frequencies, because we always say raising your frequency, raising your frequency. Nobody says like raise your dimension. So to me, like, I don't think we're going anywhere when we're on planet Earth. I don't think like there's a new door that's going to open and like it's going to be completely different than what now. But I just feel as I'm rising my frequency, the control of the matrix doesn't have any grab on me. So I was reading an article this morning that a friend of mine sent me. And it goes like, I know it's pure coincidence. The province with 1.7 trillion barrels of oil, with the premier who said they will get rid of carbon tax, who said no to the federal gun grab, and who said no to the Fed interfering with resource development, who says no to Justin inflation, which is Justin Trudeau inflation, just transition and killing off oil and gas job, who said no to 100% electric vehicle by 2035, who said no to the WEF running AHS, who said no to Hingsha, which is like, I don't know what's her title, but she's related to the health. We said no to vax mandate and passport. We said no to wokeism. Now magically has 107 wildfire exploding across the province in a week right before a provincial election. They want you to believe this is a climate change. It isn't. It's policy change.
Why are you giving us that today?
I don't know, maybe a little bit of frustration regarding this. We were talking about control and stuff, and then
Mhm. I get it.
We're going to see over the next 10 years, we're going to see really bizarre politics. It shows up.
The hunger and desire for control is somewhat organized as order, which gives some people a self-righteousness to say what that order is going to be, and therefore create institutions, and therefore try to control truth, knowledge, and wisdom.
yeah, and I'm seeing like when you're losing control, you use force.
Yep.
And you have no power. So what we're going to see the power emerging. That's how I see it.
But
Power
you
of
just
what?
said it.
The power of what?
Those who are exercising power over other people are actually the ones losing control and therefore have no power. They just trying to be the Wizard of Oz and act like they have control.
You're the emperor without the clothes.
Yes.
That's going to become increasingly obvious to people.
Yeah, I mean, love or not love will be, that's the only truth. And if we look back, that is where we can say everything has been wrong, is when love or not love. Force is not love. Fight is not love. Because it's confusing. Meaning who to believe. What to believe.
That takes me back to yes and,
Mhm.
because even in the control or the institutions or what have you, there is evolution of mankind on earth. And so we have these contradicting energies, yet
There we go.
creating.
Yeah.
It's the rings on the ladder that go high, whether it's higher and higher, but it changes. And so, you know, we're living this higher and higher frequency. It's the contrast and even the frustration and even the pain that was in my chest earlier. It made me breathe into a truth that's undeniable to raise my vibration. And my truth isn't to control anyone. It's my individual evolution. And so as we interact between those things that make us feel good and frustrate us, we find a tension that creates.
Yes. So well put.
Yeah, I bring everything back to the breath. Is breath confusing? No. Like everything we put a label on is not true. When we get back to the basic. And when I feel constricted, I breathe.
And when you feel expansive?
When I want to feel more love, I breathe. When I have frustration, I breathe deeper. So for me, it's all about breath. That's why I'm so passionate about it.
Love you, Pascal.
Well, folks, thank you. What a wonderful morning.
So, hey, what are we going to do for tomorrow?
We breathe.
Breathe.
Yeah, I know. Jesse's not going to be available tomorrow.
Pretty much all week, I'm not going to be available. So if people want to, I can structure it so that people can gather, or we can take a week off.
You know, I'm actually good either way. There's a lot for me to process here.
I will volunteer to be available to host. Okay, I don't have a Zoom account though. Well,
I'll get you. I'll get you on.
But-
I'll get you on. I'll. It'll be the same link. I'll set you up if we want to do it. I'll get it launched. I can do that. I just can't participate as I normally would.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, that sounds
I'll
great.
have it launched. I'll have it launched. You guys show up if you want. I'll participate where I can, and I'll give you a host, Craig, every time. So
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that
Okay.
sounds good.
So we'll do it that way. Okay.
perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Great to be with you,
Yeah.
Sindrell. Thank you.
Great day today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pascal,
Missed you very
Craig,
much.
Welcome,
Ian.
Cindy.
Thank you. It's been so wonderful for me. I have so much to be exhilarated on.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Yeah. This was very fruitful.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ally. Ally, who her word was present. Present. Present and pre-paving our reality. Pre-paving, using the present to reset reality. I love that, Ally.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, scatter through your day because wherever you gather next will be another breakthrough.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mhm.
Getting
Yeah.
to be a bad,
Let's
getting to
let's
be a
spread some
habit.
love.
Spread it, you bet. Love and
Peace
love
and
and love.
love.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, big
Yeah.
love, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Have a good day.